cool thing about fishermen is we develop new things for new situations. And one of the most simple fishing techniques to come along in a long time is a drop shot. It allows me the availability to fish vertically straight over the side of the boat, but it's also a great thing to pitch around as well. Now obviously you can't pitch a drop shot in a brush pile, in a tree, without some difficulties. I've got an open hook drop shot here, and you can see we're in an urban environment fishing on the riverfront here, and you have a lot of vertical type cover. My initial thoughts were a drop shot being the rig right here, being a weight on the bottom, a bait and a hook above, and I always put a little bitty split or a little bitty swivel there for line twist. Drop shot will twist quite a bit. My initial thoughts for a drop shot were you had to fish it straight up and down over the side of the boat, and that's not necessarily true. It has lent itself to another form of a Carolina rig, casting to long points. I've used it actually flipping to lily pads in Florida. I've caught them around boat docks at Clear Lake in California. But a drop shot is a very simple way to fish, and it's a way to fish for young fishermen, people that don't have a lot of experience, because it doesn't take a lot of skill. It's pretty simple. You can cast it out, you can pitch it towards objects, and then you can also fish it vertical. You can see fish on the depth finder, drop it right down beside your trolling motor, you see the bait going to the bottom, and you're actually playing video games, fishing for fish on your Lowrance unit as well. I've done lots of good with big smallmouth fishing vertical like that, but a drop shot is not just for fishing straight up and down. We have a little bit of current here on the Tennessee River, and I'll make a pitch up here to this outside edge of that, let it go down, and I'm basically just probing the outside edges. Take my rod and just take a nice little rhythmic shake. The bait is not on the bottom like a Texas rig or a jig or anything like that. It's between you and the bottom. So a slight little rhythmic action like that causes lots of tail action on the particular bait that you're using. With the weight being between us and the bottom, just a nice little rhythmic shake. You don't have to really get crazy with it and shake it real hard. Just a nice little rhythmic shake will have that tail of that worm dancing and darting. Even in big waves, when you're out there on the, say, the Great Lakes, just the motion of the boat will have enough action on the bait to have it be very, very attractive to bass. You can see we've got stuff here to pitch at. You can pitch at it, but here's what I really like to do. I really like to get out here in the deep water. You can actually watch your bait go to the bottom. There's some bait right there on the depth finder. Starting to see some fish. Now you're actually going to see the whole rig go right by the screen. This is it coming down right there. That's the bait going to the bottom right there. So we're out there in 10, 11 feet of water. There's some bait, some disturbance right there of some sort, but you can literally see where my drop shot rig came down. And that's only a little bitty swivel, a little bitty hook, and a very small sinker. So by watching the depth finder, I can literally drop this thing right on top of a fish's head. With the bait I'm using, this is a Strike King Dream Shot. It also has kind of a little flat side to it, so it creates a lot of action on the way down. And that creates a lot of disturbance, and the fish can see it from a distance away. Drop shotting is nothing more than deep water flipping. If you look at it in those terms, it becomes very simple. We're out here in deep water, we're dropping straight down on the fish and trying to get him to bite. Most of the times, the sheer surprise of dropping that little bait right in front of him will get him to bite it. You can see that this is a Dream Shot. The Dream Shot worm's got a thick little body and a nice little slender tail. It creates a lot of action with the tail. It actually looks like that bait's actually swimming while you're shaking your rod tip. Keeping it out here, watching that depth finder. There's a fish on the bottom right there. There goes my rig straight down to him. It's right by him. He came right by it. A lot of times you can actually see that fish turn and go back to that bait. The bite most of the time is just a little pressure bite. You feel just a little light change. It feels a little heavier when you lift up on it. Sometimes you feel them thump it, but most of the time it's a little light. A hook set is nothing more than lifting your rod up. A light drag. I always use fluorocarbon line most of the time with this procedure. This is 8-pound Invis-X, but I will also, when I'm drop shotting in very deep water, to eliminate all line stretch, is I will use a 8-pound Conzen braid and tie it to an 8-pound fluorocarbon leader. There's zero stretch, and I generally do that when I'm fishing in over 30 feet of water. 30 to 40 to 50 feet of water is what I'll do then. It's a simple way to fish, spinning gear. Don't have to make a lot of long casts, but if you need to, you can pull right up to the cover and pitch that drop shot right in there around the edge of the cover and catch them as well. And with that, I hope drop shotting catches you more fish.